This video will cover 4 topics. Number 1. Differences between traditional Shaolin Kung Fu and the sports wushu of Shaolin-do Wushu school. Number 2. How and why the forms have changed. Number 3. The mastermind behind the downfall of Shaolin Kung Fu. Number 4. Where foreigners can still learn authentic Shaolin Kung Fu.
The application of the third basic exercise, the low back stance.
Notice this stance. Notice how low it is. But is it necessary to get so low? Let's look at the practical application of the same technique. Now you can see when he is using it for real, he is not getting that low. So there are practically 2 different stances, one for performance and another for application. This punching technique you will see in several Shaolin forms when someone is punching with the leading hand and the rear hand is stretched out far away from the body. But if you look at the old footages, you will see the hand is much low, like it is parrying someone's side kick, stepping forward and punching on his face. Many people will tell you different reasoning like differences of lineage and all. The truth is, when in modern world you see some monk looking guy performing some fancy forms, they are not actually doing Shaolin Kung Fu. They are performing the sports Wushu Taolu or forms designed by Shaolin-do Wushu school. Let's take a look at this traditional Shaolin Kung Fu form, Taiju Changchuan. And it looks very ugly because it is supposed to be effective, not beautiful. Now if you look at the modern sports wushu version of Taiju Changchuan, you will see these forms are much more beautiful because these are for performances, not for combat. Notice how they are lifting their rear hand. It's not a punch, neither a block. Then what is it? But if you look at the old footage, you will see there is a huge circular movement that covers the entire side of the head. Hundreds of these small detailing in Shaolin Kung Fu are now missing from the sports wushu Taolu because they are no longer dependent on Shaolin Kung Fu to fight. They have sports sanda. Sports sanda or Gyundung sanda, you can by all means call it a modern Kung Fu system, but it is not traditional Shaolin Kung Fu. Traditional Shaolin Kung Fu forms were changed based on 3 different criteria. First is beautification. They just wanted to make the forms more beautiful so they can score more points in sports tournaments. Number 2 is simplification. They removed many fine detailings of Shaolin Kung Fu which were indispensable for combative use, so it would be easy to learn and teach. Number 3 is mass teaching. They made the form's movement very big so a huge number of students can observe and copy the movement easily. The story of this downfall started in 60s during the Cultural Revolution when Shaolin Temple was already a ruin. Many of the masters left the monastery they were living in Denfang County or nearby Luoyang city. In 70s, Chinese government decided to renovate the temple. In 1978, Chinese Administration of Sports founded Shaolin-do Wushu School, world's largest martial art organization. There are 36,000 students only in its headquarters. Currently, there are over 200 schools only in Denfang County and over thousands around the world, all affiliated under Shaolin-do Wushu School. Most of them are simply teaching sports wushu, not Kung Fu. In 1982, the movie Shaolin Temple was released and most of the actors and stuntmen were sports wushu athletes. In 1995, Shaolin-do Wushu School introduced their professional performers teams who has been performing in shows in different countries. But if you read the book Training Methods of 72 Hours of Shaolin, published in 1934, you will know most of these hilarious stunts has never been a part of Shaolin Kung Fu. Since then, the world started to look at Shaolin through the perspective of Tago Wushu School. And sports wushu performers who never studied Kung Fu started to claim mastery in Shaolin Kung Fu. The mastermind behind this shameless commercialization is Shaolin abbot Shi Yongxin, who is already known in China as CEO monk because of his lavish lifestyle. You give him money and he will make you a disciple even if you never learn Shaolin Kung Fu or Buddhism.
Anyone can become a Shaolin disciple. You can go to the temple, they'll have a ceremony for you, and you'll get a Buddhist name, you get a little Buddhist sort of passport, and then you become a disciple of the current abbot. Some people come to Shaolin and they just go there, they throw money at them, and they have the ceremony, they become disciples because they need the certificate, they need the paper.
However, Shaolin Kung Fu is still preserved in the temple as it has always been, but it is not accessible to foreigners.
你想，我们这寺院一共有4个秘密练功场，这4个秘密练功场，一般人是根本走不到那个地方，即使是走到那个地方，他们也不知道那是秘密练功场。
Being a disciple and being a monk is not the same thing. Just as anyone can be baptized, but anyone cannot be a priest. Monastic life has never been easy. You have to study Buddhism, you have to know old Chinese very well, otherwise you won't be able to read the scriptures. This is something almost impossible for foreigners. However, there are many masters who left Shaolin when it became a tourist spot, and they're still alive and teaching in Denfang City and Luoyang City. You can find many of them in Shaolin's Shechu, Shaolin Village in Denfang City, Henan Province, China. If you're interested, let me know in the comment section. I know some of their addresses. Or you can join the schools which are called Shaolin Hui or Shaolin Club. These are schools who are preserving some specific lineage of Shaolin Kung Fu, but they have no connection with the temple or Shaolin Tago Wushu school. For example, this footage is from Liaoning Wushu Guan, the headquarters of Horwiting International Mantis School. The instructor in this video is Shifu Li Shongjun, my Northern Praying Mantis teacher, who is an inheritor of Shaolin Luohan Duanda Tanglang Chuan, an 800 years old Shaolin Mantis system. Sports wushu is a beautiful sport and there's nothing wrong in it, but if you want to learn authentic Shaolin Kung Fu, then please do your research very well, don't fall for these tourist traps.